Hi everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about the bandsaw. The bandsaw is a saw that we use a lot that does one thing very well. It cuts curves, where a lot of the other saws like the radial arm saw and the table saw are used to cut straight lines. The bandsaw does really well at cutting curved lines. The bandsaw is called a bandsaw because it is literally a giant band, the saw itself. It goes all the way up and around, going straight down into the table. The great thing about that is that because the saw is just going in one direction, all the force is being pushed into the table. So as long as you're keeping your piece of material safely on the table, you're able to pull your material in and out without having to worry about the force of the blade acting on the material. This is great because sometimes you get into very tight cuts and you'll have to back out a little bit and then come back in afterwards. The bandsaw has an adjustable blade length, basically, where you adjust how much of the blade is exposed. There is a knob on the back of the saw that loosens up the guard, and then there is a crank that adjusts the height. You want to adjust the guard so that you've got good visibility of where you're going to be cutting, and then maybe another inch or two exposed. You don't want to expose more blade than necessary because it can bend easier if it has more blade exposed, because these wheels here on either side help keep the blade straight. And also if you have more blade exposed, it's just more dangerous in general. Make sure that you tighten back up the knob on the back when you're done adjusting it. For this demonstration, I'll show you how to do a cut. I'll turn on the saw over here. It's kind of an interesting button. It's actually got the stop and the start in one button. One is on the outside, the red stop, and then to turn it on is actually the inside green button. Again, you always want to make sure with this in all saws that you are waiting until the blade gets to full speed before you start cutting. When you're cutting, you always want to know that it's going to be cutting straight in line here, so that you're adjusting your material along with the saw as you're going, very much like a sewing machine. Go ahead and turn it on. When you're doing your cuts, it's okay to stop and pull back a little bit to realign your cut. You basically want to stop before you cross your line and just give yourself a little more space. It allows the blade to be able to have room to maneuver. With thicker material, that's particularly important because the thicker the material is, the more likely it is to bend the blade. It's okay to cut out chunks of the material, come back in at a different direction, and remove the chunks that are in your way